returned to the harmonica, an instrument I had played with enthusiasm in my teens. On a Delta trip, I acquired a diddley bow, the one-string instrument that had been the starting point for many blues guitarists, and began learning how to play it with a knife. Quite a change and challenge after years of having the 88 notes of the piano keyboard at my disposal. I next returned to the guitar, an instrument I had hardly picked up since I was 16 years old, and taught myself how to read tablature notation. I studied the transcriptions of Delta blues guitar recordings and also began developing blues figures and patterns of my own, inspired by the music of the masters of the idiom. To some extent, I felt like a child again, discovering music for the first time. In this book, I've tried to take an expansive view of the Delta tradition, not only focusing on the musicians native to the region, but also pausing to explore the careers of those who lived in close vicinity to the Delta and thus absorbed its influences, or who resided in the Delta for shorter or longer periods and brought the experiences of these years to other parts of the world. This is a rich and complex story, as the careers of Muddy Waters, Howlin Wolf, John Lee Hooker, and B.B. King make clear. The sounds of the Delta have traveled far over the decades, impacting other styles of music and changing the sonic landscape of our times. These far-reaching reverberations are, I believe, a proper part of my account of the Delta blues. But I also wanted to take time to focus on the almost forgotten figures, large, if little-known talents such as G.C. Wiley or Kid Bailey or Mattie Mae Thomas and others, who might have developed into well-known stars, but whose brilliance is obscured because they recorded so little and their biographies are so sketchy. My hope is that a far-reaching study of this sort will inspire blues lovers to open up their ears to riches from the Delta heritage that they may have previously missed or ignored. And as always has been the case for me, researching and writing gave me a grand excuse to knock on doors, meet people, and initiate conversations. The resulting dialogues are often referred to here, but this book gives only the barest indication of the full scope of these encounters. My debts in this regard are many, especially since my studies were not solitary ones, but enriched by daily exchanges with many people. Chapter 1. The Blues and the Old Kingdoms. 1. From Catfish Row to Graceland. The Delta region of Mississippi is an expansive alluvial plain, shaped like the leaf of a pecan tree hanging lazily over the rest of the state. Stretching some 220 miles from Vicksburg to Memphis, it is bounded on the west by the Mississippi River and extends eastward for an average of 65 miles, terminating in hill country with its poorer soil and different ways of life, and the Yazoo River, which eventually joins the Mississippi at Vicksburg. For blues fans, this is the Delta, although geologists will remind us that it is not the proper delta of the Mississippi River, which is found where the mighty currents flow into the Gulf of Mexico south of New Orleans. No U.S. president has hailed from the Delta region, or indeed from anywhere in Mississippi, nor has a vice president. No Chief Justice of the Supreme Court was born here, no Secretary of State. The region's contributions to the fields of chemistry and physics are practically nil. The same can be said for economics, psychology, sociology, and a college course catalog full of other academic disciplines. None of the Dow Jones Industrial Companies have their headquarters here. In fact, not a single member of the Fortune 500 calls Mississippi its home. Yet, music the world over was transformed by the songs made here. The influence of the Delta on the sound of our musical lives is so pervasive today that it is almost impossible to take full measure of its impact. One might as well try to imagine cooking without herbs and spices, or medicine before the arrival of penicillin. Our soundscapes were revitalized by the blues tonality, which found rich deposits by mining the cracks between the notes of our Western scales. New modes of musical expression were made possible by the blues way of phrasing, the crisp bite of its distinctive harmonies, and its penetrating melodies. Without the blues, much of the music we hear every day would be fundamentally different, eviscerated, and tepid. And without the Delta, we can hardly imagine the blues exerting such a powerful influence. During the 1920s and 1930s, when the first great recordings of the Delta blues were made, the level of poverty